What's up YouTube, it's your boy Norse here, and today we're taking a look at the Marvel Legends Deluxe Mephisto figure. First things first, I want a big shout out to my friend Kane. You can find him over on Instagram at HasbizToyBro. I'll have a link to his Instagram in my description. I missed the pre-order window for this guy and he hooked me up big time. So once again man, I appreciate you so much. Let's crack on. Let's start by looking at the packaging, the font, the photography, just the whole look of this packaging. I really enjoy it. I kind of wish it opened up to have a window. We got a nice picture of Mephisto on the side there. We got a nice picture of the figure and the back of the throne here as well. There is a read up there. I ain't gonna read all that, so you can do it in your own time. And again, same picture on this side. And then what's on the top? We've just got Marvel's Mephisto and all the legal crap on the bottom. Already, I've tried not to look at anyone else's reviews of this. I've seen some in-hand pictures of it, but not really looked into them in detail. So everything I say is going to be my first thoughts on this figure straight out the box. With that being said, let's crack this open and get a look at the content. So straight out the box, this is heavy. This throne base is heavy as hell. No pun intended. We get the figure itself. He comes with his hard loincloth on, an alternative head, a skull accessory for him to hold, two holding hands, his long ass sword, which I think is bigger than most Marvel Legends figures. Oh, okay, that didn't go to plan. We get his throne, we get his cape, and then we get his soft goods loincloth and cape. Kind of wish we had more hands with him, maybe some fisted hands, but I don't know man, for the price it doesn't come with a lot of accessories. What it comes with is kind of nice though. Maybe another head, maybe like just a more serious head, like without his teeth showing. That would have been pretty cool. I'm gonna get this throne put together and look up closer at the figure. First thing out the box we got was Mephisto's throne, which is the thing I am most excited about from this set. The figure itself looks very nice, but it doesn't hold up compared to the sculpting and detail on this. Like, it is mind-blowing. The sculpture on the stone here, and like, I can't tell if it's meant to be flesh or dirt. Whichever way it is, it looks grim. I'm going more flesh, considering that most of this around here seems to be made up by a bunch of different demons. Mandibles, well, that looks like a lower jaw or the side of a jaw of some sort of creature, and it looks gnarly and it looks great. This bit here again looks like it's some sort of lower jaw. Yeah, you can see here's the teeth probably to this big guy, but it doesn't really line up too well on the other side, so can't be too sure on that. But just look at the sculpt work on this big demon head here. Absolutely insane. I love it. There's metal chains wrapped around. Again, looks like some sort of bone or tusk of some sort of demon. There's also a chain here, but this one was left unpainted, unlike the one over here. So that's a little bit of a piss take considering the price point. Thankfully though, each skull on this base has its own kind of look to it, a little bit of personality for each one. We got this guy with bugs climbing in and out of all of his orifices. We got this guy who is yodeling. This guy who is slightly buried in there. Looks like he's having a great time. This guy with his jaw broken off and some sort of vine or God knows what climbing out of his mouth. This guy is just chilling. This guy has a crack in the top of his skull, and that hole there is actually where Mephisto's sword sits. And we got this guy here, just a nice little demon with some nice little horns, just doing his own little thing. I really like that. So yeah, here is where the sword sits in, so I can just rest against the throne while Mephisto is sat on it. Looks really nice. Again, when it's in there, it is in there. And then this skull is the one that Mephisto can hold, and the sculpt work on this and the paint work on it is, it matches everything on the base, so it won't stand out when you slot it into this tiny little groove here. And just like the sword, once it's actually like lined up and in there, it's lined up and in there. So that's really nice how they've managed to get it to fit so well, because it's not hard to get it off of the base when you're trying to, but the moment you put it on there, this fucker isn't coming off. So that is really nice. Honestly, this base is, I can't get over how nice it is. I need to find a way to pose him and display him with the base probably facing this way, because that is just so cool. So yeah, here's Mephisto's throne from the set. Again, probably the best part of the set. Let's crack on and have a look at the other accessories that Mephisto comes with before looking at the main guy himself. Taking a look at the accessories, we'll start off with ones we've already seen. Starting off, we will look at Mephisto's big ass sword. The blade is molded in a silver plastic, which when the light hits it in certain angles is really nice reflective, but here is how it looks most of the time when light is not hitting it perfectly. It is a very dull silver. I wish they painted it with a more brighter silver. But the gold on the crossguard and the pommel here are really nice. It is a really nice gold, and no matter how I hold it, light will hit it somewhere and it will look really nice the way it reflects it off. The handle of the sword is sculpted really nicely with some sort of leather wrap style texturing. On my camera that looks a lot darker, but it's more of a brown in person. All in all, the sword is nice. It is ridiculously large. It, as I've said already, it is probably bigger than most Marvel Legends. When I do a size comparison, I'll make sure to show the size of this bad boy next to a standard Marvel Legends. Second up, again, we've already seen it, it is the skull. I really like the sculpt work on this skull. The teeth are really nicely done. I really like how they used washes in the recesses of all the sculpt to just really make this look gritty. Maybe they could have made it look grittier, actually. I think that's my issue with the skull. Actually, my only issue I found with the skull and the throne base, other than those unpainted chains, which kind of sucks that they painted some and not the rest, is for the skulls to be down there and have like these bugs crawling in their eyes and out of their noses. They don't actually look that dirty, but the sculpt work's there, and I'm not scared to use a paintbrush, so I can probably make that work. Next up, we'll take a look at the hands. The hands I have issues with because we get two holding hands for the previously mentioned big ass sword. They're in the red of Mephisto's skin tone, and they come with some nice snazzy painted nails for you. Then they're holding hands, they're nice. The nails are sculpted pretty nice. I like them. They're holding hands. And then we get two open hands. This one is a lot more splayed out. Kind of really enjoy how this one's sculpted, because you can use it for so much. He's either, just or you can have it as if he's trying to reach out to someone while trying to make a bond with them. If that someone is Spider-Man, you know it's going to be a good comic because Mephisto likes fucking with that guy. This one is more, this one is for holding the skull. I've not got him to hold the skull in a way that is super secure yet, but once I fiddle around with it a bit more, I should imagine it will hold it a lot nicer. Oh my god. Yeah, it's nice. I kind of wish they gave us two of this hand and two of this hand, because I prefer the posing on this hand, and I would like two of these hands to use. I'd also like two fists as well, because again, at the price point of £76 in the UK, that's, you know, four hands and two of them a mismatch, kind of. Just give us like two of these, two of these, two of these, and a set of fisted hands, and I'd have been a lot happier with that. Next up, we shall look at the heads, if I can. There we go. So we've got this one, which is his more devious smirk looking head, which I really, really like. I really enjoy the metallic yellow eyeballs and the darker reds around it, which really help make them pop. The sculpt on this is genuinely amazing. I love the hair, how it is unruly and wild, and there's just so many layers to it, and it just looks really nice. Really big fan of this head. This is the head that I will be using when I display him. The second head we got was this one, and he looks like he is constipated. I don't hate it. He's got little fat cheeks. That's kind of cute. Not what you want for the devil. I really like, again, the yellow metallic for the eyes. I really like it. I like that the hair is sculpted differently on each head. So it's not just the same hair, different face. There's a lot of difference between each head. On my camera as well, it is making it look like there's a slight difference in the colour of the hair for each head, which I don't hate. Yeah, no, actually in person I can kind of see a slight variation. This one's a bit of a lighter, this one's a bit darker. I don't hate it. Again, the texturing is there, it's really nice. I just prefer this head over this one, but I will probably find a way to make a custom Mephisto to have this head displayed somewhere else in my collection, because I don't hate it, it's just this one wins big time for me. I kind of wish we got a third head though, with his mouth closed, or maybe a screaming head, or both, because again, at the price point of £76, a couple extra heads wouldn't go amiss. Next up we will look at, I've actually took the Mephisto apart so I can get this loincloth off, which this is the hard plastic loincloth. Obviously it has a peg in the back here which helps it slot into the top of Mephisto's waist here to keep it more secure, and I quite like the way that sits on there very nicely. My issue with this is it's just molded brown plastic. It's got some nice detailing in it, but I really wish there was more color variations, more paint, maybe a bit more sculpting on the inside as well, because even though it's on the inside you can still see it when he's wearing it. Again, I don't hate it, I just kind of wish they added more color variation to it to make it pop a little bit more. And to go that, we have the hard the more rubberized cape for Mephisto. I quite like the high collar, and the sculpt work all around it is very nice. I really like the direction they've sculpted it in. It looks really nice the way it's swooshed into the side. I love all the ripples and wrinkles in this cape that they have sculpted for that effect. I quite like the texture on this cape too. It's pretty damn good. My biggest gripe with this cape is the way it goes from this brownish red all the way down to like this burnt black towards the tattered ends of it on the inside, but on the outside they've just left it, again, just molded brown plastic. Like, Hasbro, come on, again, £76. I'm pretty sure you'd be able to find it in the budget to paint the fucking outside of the cape to match the inside of the cape. Like, the fact here, it literally it goes around and then it just cuts off the moment it meets the edge. Like, that just feels very lazy to me. That feels kind of insulting at the price point people are paying for this pre-order. I didn't pre-order the Dragon Man or buy the Dragon Man, so I don't know if there were similar issues with that, with how expensive it was, that stuff was just falling short. But I've wanted this Mephisto since that failed fucking Ghost Rider HasLab. That was the one HasLab I genuinely wanted. I did not back any HasLab until that one, and it failed, and I was so bummed out because we no longer were going to get a Mephisto. Look at us now, eh? And then moving on, we have got the soft goods. We've got the loincloth here, which I don't hate, but I'm not a big fan of how it sits on the body, because this bit here, because it is under the square that fits over the square peg where the torso pops in. I'll just put them together and show you quickly. So this is elasticated, which is very nice, and it just pulls over the top of the waist, if I can actually get it to, there we go. It's a lot harder to do on camera than it was in person, but when you put his torso on, it just kind of, it just doesn't really go up, so it just looks kind of awkward, because now you can see where this loincloth is plugged in, whereas with the hard plastic one, it slots in, but it covers up where that waist joint is, and I think that just looks a lot better. Personally, I think that looks a lot better. And now the biggest gripe I've had so far is the soft goods cape, because the soft goods cape, like the loincloth, has this vinyl faux texture, whereas the loincloth has it on the outside, and on the inside is just this plain reddy brown fabric. The cape on the inside has the faux texture, but on the outside, which is going to be seen more, is just plain fabric. My gripe that I've been having is these pegs here weren't actually fitted properly on my copy, so this side pops out loads. This side pops out loads, and it'll pop out all the way down to about this middle peg. So I'm gonna have to probably heat it up, force it into where, force them into the holes, and then probably glue them so they don't move. I kind of also wish I could just rip the cape off of this little kind of bracket it's on, so I'm gonna try and turn the cape inside out, but it looks like it's already been glued, which means the outside is then going to be ruined when I turn it around, so that's not great. I like the little clasp though on top of the rigid rubbery bit, but yeah, I just kind of wish that the cape was the way it was meant to be, which it was shown in all the product pictures with the texture in on the outside. And with that done, that is all the accessories that came with Mephisto. Again, I wish we got more heads. I wish we got more detailing on the hard cape. I wish they didn't fuck up the soft goods cape. I wish we got more hands. But other than that, I mean, I guess you can count the base as well as an accessory, but I count that as a base, but that kind of makes it worth the letdown on some aspects of the accessories. Let me get Mephisto put together, we'll take a look at him, talk through his articulation and his detailing. And now taking a look at the sculpt work on Mephisto here. The body, arm and legs are pretty bare bones. It's just mainly the muscle sculpted, which are sculpted really nicely. The main sculpt work comes in the form of his wrist gauntlets, his crotch and his boots, which are all sculpted really nicely, but my biggest gripe that I have is that they're all one solid colour. If there was just a dry brushed highlight or a wash on these things, I believe it would make it pop so much more. It would look a lot nicer with those, because the further away he gets, the less recognisable that sculpt work is, but when it's up close you can actually really appreciate the detail and sculpt work that were put into these items, especially the boots and the wrist. They're really nice. There's a lot of different wrinkles and folds that I feel like they should just give that little bit of extra love to, just for you to be able to appreciate it from a lot further away. The crotch again, really nicely detailed. a lot of texturing on this area, but it's just solid brown, you know. I know the loincloth will be in the way for the most part, so it doesn't really matter, but it kind of does my head in. The torso is sculpted nicely, the muscles are sculpted really well all throughout. The back is less textured and detailed, but with the cape on you're not really going to see it. The back of the butterfly joint does have some sculpt work in it, but the front does not, which is a very odd choice in my opinion. The legs are sculpted really nice. I do like the upper thighs here, where it has sculpt work to go with the crotch area. I can't remember if the Kazar figure also had this sculpt work here, or if it was just bare thighs all the way up. I only owned that figure once for fodder for a custom, and generally just cannot remember. Sculpt work, yeah, it's nice. The body is mainly just the red plastic it is molded in. In person you can't really notice it, but on camera I'm noticing it a bit more now. There is slight highlighting on some of his more raised prominent muscles, which is nice to know they did at least add that. I just wish it was slightly more vibrant, maybe a brighter red or maybe a tinge more orange, just to kind of make it pop a little bit more. All in all, it is sculpted pretty well. There's not really much to talk about when it comes to the sculpt work. So we will go into the articulation. Articulation on Mephisto. His head is on a ball joint. It goes up this far, down this far, a little bit side to side, and a full rotation for you sickos out there. His shoulders are on a butterfly which go back this far and come forward not a lot really. It's not really much due to the size of his shoulders and the cut not actually being that deep on the front. His shoulders lift up this far, we get a full bicep swivel, we get double jointed elbows, we get wrist articulation. The upper torso diaphragm is a ball joint, so we get full spin if you want to do that. Get a little bit side to side, a little bit forward. When I say a little bit, I mean a little bit. A decent amount back though, which is nice. There is no waist articulation. My biggest gripe is there is no waist articulation, because the way you add his soft goods is around this square peg here, and it sits into this square hole here. They could have easily done that as a circle, so he still retains some sort of waist movement. His leg kicks up this high and kicks back this far. We've got the thigh swivel, double jointed pinless knees. We've got a boot cut. Ankle hinges down, it hinges up. There is ankle pivot, and sadly no toe articulation. I really wish we had toe articulation on this figure, especially when we have stuff like the Maximum series. There's no excuse for characters like Mephisto, which is a 76-pound figure. I know I keep saying it, but still, 76 pounds Marvel legend should have toe articulation at least. Let's throw on his hard plastic loincloth and see how much that hinders that. Okay, so with the hard plastic cape and loincloth on, his head turns side to side, but it doesn't go all the way because the cape is a high collar. It goes back even less than it did without. It goes down the same amount, and you still get that nice tint. The arms still go up. The arms can still 360 around. The butterfly joints don't really get affected other than this side where it kind of hits it on the back. The diaphragm joint still turns 360 degrees, so that doesn't get affected too much. It goes forward the same amount, it goes back less than it does because this is a harder plastic. Still no waist articulation, so doesn't really make much difference. It goes up pretty much same amount, goes back same amount, and splits not very far. Don't do that too much, as you will end up nicking the side of the sculpted upper thigh area, which is a shame, but hey, it is what it is. Honestly, I don't mind it. It looks nice. it's a nice looking figure. I'm not going to bother doing the articulation with the soft goods on, because the soft goods are not going to hinder any of the articulation because it's fabric. Probably just the head actually, because the collar being the hard plastic collar. Let me go grab some figures and we'll do some size comparisons of this big height comparison with Mephisto. I've gone for a weird group of figures that were just easy for me to grab off my shelf. We've got Captain Marvel. We've got Muse from the new Bullseye 2-pack. We've got Kid Nova. And we've got the Champion of the Universe. Champion of the Universe is a very tall figure, and as you can see, there's not much of a height difference between these two. So I'm pretty happy with the size of Mephisto height-wise. As promised as well, his big-ass sword, as you can see, is taller than Captain Marvel, a lot taller than Nova, and even taller than Muse still. That is a big-ass sword, and I fucking love it. Height-wise, I'm pretty happy with the height of Mephisto. Accessory-wise, I wish he came with more. I mean, I know we got a big-ass throne, but, like, just maybe another head, another couple of hands, and I think he would have been the perfect figure. For the price point of £76, he's pretty good. The sculpt work, I wish there was more paint added to it just to kind of make it pop a bit more. I really wish this cape had this burnt look all the way around, because that still very much annoyed me. The base alone, truthfully, even if you don't like the Mephisto figure, the base alone really makes up the disappointment of the price point. Just again, this itself, truthfully, I'd happily just display this on a shelf. Even if I didn't have the Mephisto figure, I would happily just have this displayed somewhere in my collection. This is the saving grace of this set, to be honest. All in all, Hasbro, get your shit together. Just finish painting stuff, you know? I like this figure. I'm happy to have it in my collection. Again, massive thank you to Hasbizz Toy Bro over on Instagram. His account will be linked in the description. I'm happy I own this. I just wish there was a little bit more to it. And with that, I'll see you in the next one.